Hello iRacers, this is Greg Hill, executive producer, and this is our mid-season development update. With just a handful of weeks left to go in Season 4, we're quickly approaching the conclusion of the 2023 competition year, and what a year it's been. Of course, every year at iRacing is unique. It's the nature of our business that the sim and racing service are constantly evolving. However, I can't think of a period that's been more eventful and impactful for the future of sim racing at iRacing than these past 12 months. We have established key new partnerships that will help our brand of motorsport grow at a global scale and reach all new audiences and racing fans. We have strengthened existing partnerships and secured a critical license that will allow us to return to our roots with NASCAR and NASCAR team properties. And of course, throughout all of this, we have invested significantly into the ongoing development and improvement of our great racing simulation and racing service. Now, I do intend to share some of the cool things to come in the Season 1 build, but first let's take a moment to focus on one of the bigger picture developments I alluded to a moment ago. As I touched on in detail in a previous update, a significant focus this year, and last, has been the strategic expansion of our staff across many talented teams. This growth will enable iRacing to operate from a position of strength for years to come and ensure that we will continue to deliver an unparalleled modern simulation experience. On that note, we're thrilled to upgrade our graphics team later this year through the addition of multiple industry-leading rendering programmers who will help evolve iRacing's graphic tech in a way never before seen on this platform. These developers have spent the last 20 years building and leading graphics and rendering teams across a broad spectrum of powerful graphic engines such as idTech, Unity, Unreal, Decima, and Glacier. Our reconstituted graphics team will be more formidable than ever, and we couldn't be more excited about what's to come. This will be a big lift, and in the short term, we will continue improving the current rendering technology and graphics. And now for another big picture update that I know many have been following closely: the status of our advanced new weather system, which we call Tempest internally. While we aren't quite ready to guarantee Tempest for December, we are now confident enough to say that the release of this incredibly complex system is imminent. Tempest was built from the ground up and consists of several interconnected systems that simulate not only rain and the effect that water has on the racetrack, race cars, and surrounding area, but also the physical components that combine to create various types of weather. This system is fueled by extensive real-world data from the very locations where you'll be racing. Together with our dynamic track systems, the combined experience is unparalleled in simulation and gaming. It's hard to describe until you can experience it for yourself, but for those of you who race at these tracks in the real world and have had the fortune, or misfortune, to do so in the wet, reliving that in iRacing with physically accurate and true-to-life puddling is like nothing else out there. You'll feel a tug of resistance when you drive through wet areas, and when things get really dicey, you'll experience aquaplaning. Wait until you see our aero-heavy race cars vacuum up water from the track and redistribute it into the air and elsewhere on the track, drying up the racing line rapidly in the process. Recalibrate your expectation on what a race has in store for you as you search for the line based on the multitude of dynamics at play and the always changing nature of the track and the weather systems. Or, if you see a dark cloud looming on the horizon, is it on its way to you? Have your teammate check the weather radar or query your crew chief for an update. The Tempest project has been a long journey for us spanning multiple years. The idea took form in discussions and brainstorming back in January of 2020, followed by initial technical design a year later. For much of that time, the project was helmed by a small R&D team focused on the weather systems and the data model. Today, we have the combined effort of dozens of developers across web engineering, graphics, physics, tire, sound, and back-end engineering, track art, car art, VFX, production, QA, and design. Talk about a team effort. We're quite proud of what we've built, and we're even more excited to release it to iRacers. We all look forward to making it rain soon. After a build stuffed to the brim with new cars last season, our team has been focusing on some of our longer-term R&D initiatives, such as Rain, our aero modeling program, oval refresh, and tire model updates. That said, we're excited to be debuting one new car in December, the Audi R8 LMS Evo 2 GT3. The Evo 2 is part of our initiative to keep our GT3 fleet modern and looking great. Similar efforts will continue in the new year with multiple additions and replacements to our GT3 offerings. We have a diverse set of track content slated for release in this build. No surprises here as this has all been announced. On the oval side, we're excited to release Slinger Speedway. Slinger is so much fun to drive, and you all have a blast turning laps at the world's fastest quarter-mile oval. And yes, folks, it will include the figure 8 configuration. Mugello Circuit is looking amazing and will also debut in December. Not only does this track look amazing, but it's a blast to drive, and it's a circuit we've wanted to experience in iRacing for years now. We're really excited to be able to make that possible finally. Okayama Circuit is one of our most popular tracks on the service. It's a compelling drive across various cars, especially those in our Rookie Series. However, it has some of the oldest artwork on the service. Okayama will be re-released for free with modern artwork that meets our current standards for quality. It looks great. Outside of these highlights, there are a lot more fixes, improvements, and additions coming in Season 1 2024, and we'll provide a comprehensive list with the release notes as we approach the build. There's a lot more going on at iRacing, and I could really go on here for a long time, but let's save some of these updates for a later date. That said, a handful of items before we conclude. Our scanning department has been busy. Process data was delivered today to the team for both Portimao and Navarra, and our production and art teams are already underway. The scan team has just returned from a big trip to the heart of oval racing country in North Carolina, where they scanned an SRX car and also a handful of different street stock car bodies. We're also working on a micro sprint, which will provide a great entry point to dirt oval racing. This car will lend itself well to Millbridge Speedway, the already released Kern, and a handful of current and future short tracks on iRacing. Oval Refresh has a full complement of developers working on it each day, and they're making significant progress. These efforts will continue for some time as we iterate the many systems involved. That said, we don't want to wait until we're quote-unquote done to release these improvements to the service. With the December build, asphalt ovals have been updated to produce an improved dynamic racing experience. Track surface grip levels will change more rapidly as temperature rises and falls depending on weather, time of day, and the energy the cars are putting into the track. Be prepared to tune setups for changing track conditions and search for grip as various lanes heat up and cool down throughout a race session. I hope you found this informative, and if you'd like to learn a bit more, I'd encourage you to go to iRacing.com, mouse over news, and click on Developers Blog, where you'll find a handful of additional screenshots and other media. That's it for now. Thanks for all your continued support, and see you out there on the track.